Hallo, ich bin Dorian.
Hi, und ich bin Suprema.
And we're the Schmetterling Showgirls. Hallo Suprema, wie geht's?
Oh, es geht mir okay. Ich bin müde. Wie geht es dir?
Ich bin auch müde. They're here. They have no idea what we're talking about.
Sorry.
That's okay though, because we're going to tell you in today's lesson.
Yes.
Today we're going to talk about the various ways that you can greet somebody, and specifically how you greet them at different times of day. And we'll also talk about how you ask somebody how they're doing.
And instead of just talking about it, we are just going to show you in those upcoming videos. Oh. Guten Morgen.
Oh, Guten Tag.
Oh, Guten Abend.
Gute Nacht.
In the first scene, we saw Suprema getting up in the morning. Yeah, I know. I'm not a morning person either. And she said, Guten Morgen. Now, the Guten part simply means good. And Morgen, you might have guessed, means morning. So Guten Morgen, good morning.
In the second scene, you were saying Dorian outside during the day, and that is why she said Guten Tag, which means good day. Good day is something you can say basically any time between 9 o'clock in the morning and 6 o'clock in the afternoon. It's a very universal greeting that we use in German. And it is the more formal version of just saying hello or hallo.
But then 6 o'clock rolls around and we're not going to say Guten Tag anymore. So we saw Suprema out at an extremely fancy restaurant having dinner.
So fancy.
And therefore, she said Guten Abend, good evening.
Good evening is something you would say maybe until 9, 10-ish in the evening. Nighttime, which would be like 9, 10 p.m. roughly. We then say Gute Nacht, which means good night. And that's something you would say until next morning, 5, 6 o'clock.
And just to be clear, in case you didn't catch it, we have Guten Morgen, Guten Tag, Guten Abend. But with Nacht, it's Gute. No N at the end of the Guten. Gute Nacht. And we're not going to get into all the complicated reasons why it's that way right now, but just take note of that.
Now that you know how to greet someone at a different time of the day, we're now going to tell you how to explain to someone how you're doing. We have two very common ways of asking how someone is doing. The first one, which is a little bit more informal, is wie geht's? And the little bit more formal and longer version is wie geht es dir?
So native English speakers, we essentially just say, like, oh, how are you? In German, when you're saying wie geht's or wie geht es dir, you're asking, how is it going? It's a little different, but really all you need to know is that you can say wie geht's if you want to ask somebody how they're doing.
One additional note here. Do you remember Herr Dietrich from last time? The person we had to address with a formal you?
Well, so pushy and bossy, that Herr Dietrich.
Exactly, right? But for you, important to know is that we have a formal version of wie geht's as well that we would use in a formal context. And the formal version is wie geht es Ihnen? Which is again, how are you doing?
There's a lot of grammar involved there that we're not going to share with you right now because it'll just make your brain hurt. But for now, just know that you need to distinguish between dir and Ihnen, particularly in a formal situation. With an informal situation, you can leave the dir off and just ask wie geht's.
This is what we're gonna do now in order to show you the different responses that you can give. Dorian, wie geht's?
Super!
Dorian, wie geht's?
Gut.
Dorian, wie geht's?
Es geht.
Dorian, wie geht's?
Nicht so gut.
Oh. Okay, now let's see what Dorian told us. Dorian, wie geht es dir?
Super!
This one means literally super or very good. All right, Dorian, what else did you have to tell us?
Gut.
Okay, she said gut, which means good. It's okay.
Pretty standard response, I would say.
Yeah. What else did you tell us?
Es geht.
Es geht means so.
It's going.
It's going, yes. And then the last one?
Nicht so gut.
Nicht so gut means not so great. Which is like, I guess, the most common thing you would say when you're not feeling great.
Now, if I want to ask Suprema, my friend, who I know very well, in return, how she is doing, I've just said, wie geht's? Gut. Und dir?
And I would say how I'm feeling. Und dir, translated, is and you. And as of course, as we had an informal and formal version earlier, we also have a formal version here. If I would ask the same thing to a person I don't know, I wouldn't say und dir, but I would say und Ihnen.
And now it's your turn. Wie geht's? You can also let us know how you're doing in the comments.
Dorian, do you know what time it is?
No, I don't. What time is it, Suprema?
It's time for the word of the week.
Super!
Do you want to tell our viewers what the word of the week is?
Oh, the word of the week this week is schön.
Schön, yeah.
Schön means. Here's a few options. Did you get it right? Schön means beautiful, like me and Suprema.
It also means pretty and handsome. It's pretty much a very universal word that we use for all these terms that you have in English.
You could use it to mean like something is nice too, right? Not nice as in they're a nice person, but like, this scenery is nice, or
you can just say that's nice. That would mean das ist schön, which refers to a situation that you like. So it's a word that is used in very many different ways.
A very important word to know, and I hope you use it a lot. And with that, it's time for us to say goodbye. And guess what? We're going to tell you how to do it.
Yes, and again, we have a more formal version and a more informal version. The more formal version, which works for any kind of goodbye that you would like to say to everyone, is Auf Wiedersehen. It works at any time of the day. And the same goes for the informal version, which is, Dorian?
Tschüss!
Tschüss, exactly. You can use both in any kind of situation during any kind of day.
I just love that umlaut in there. It's so fun to say. Tschüss!
Right.
So with that, tschüss!
Today we're going to talk about the different ways of how you say
I've just told her gut, and then I would ask her back, und du?
You would actually say und dir.
Oh God. I did that so well until I got there.
I just looked into the mirror and I was like, oh, this is so nice. I'm dressed up. I love it. Okay. Today we're going to talk about the different ways how you can tell someone how Why is this so hard?